All right, so while our onions are caramelizing, we want to go ahead and start to roast our vegetables. I have just one orange bell pepper and a red bell pepper. You could use yellow. Don't use green because I find it bitter and it doesn't have this sweet taste, not like the other bell peppers, the colored ones. Okay, and then we start to cut it. You don't want it to be too small. So what we're gonna do here is just chop these up in nice little squares, and I kind of used the lines of the bell pepper as a guide also. Okay, so this is enough for 4 people for sure. Okay, and you just put that all there. Take your red. You'll probably have some, actually, okay, watch this. Okay, another. Take that stuff out and chop it into nice big chunks. I love this sandwich. I mean, I love to eat meat, but there are times when I want to just eat straight vegetables, you know, and the thing is, a lot of people complain and say, oh, it's not satisfying. I'll just stir my onions around a little. So I already added the balsamic vinegar, put it on low, medium, low, and let it start caramelizing. Towards the end there, we're going to add a splash of white wine towards the end, okay? Take it off the stem, take the stem off, and just slice it into thick slices. Take the stem off. Okay, thick slices. We have a red onion here that's already peeled. Actually, I used half of it, so I have half left. And I'm just gonna do half moons. Stick that in my little platter as well, and maybe some roasted tomatoes. Let's roast some tomatoes. I mean, tell me that's not a lot of stuff to put in your sandwich, right? And when it comes out, we could top it with some more avocado. Super easy. All right, so we're just gonna stuff that in there. We're gonna take our olive oil, keeping an eye on our onions. It looks good. They're doing their thing, getting our caramelized and good for us. Lots of olive oil, lots of salt, flavor, add some flavor, okay, pepper, even some crushed red pepper. I'm gonna add a little Italian seasoning. So like what I was saying with a Cajun blend, this is an herb blend, dried herbs that are all blended together, and they call it Italian seasoning because it's the herbs that's usually used in Italian cooking. And I have, as you can see, it's a big one here because I use it for a lot of things. And again, one of those things that helps me flavor, so this is about a tablespoon, that helps me flavor dishes very easily without having to stress out about it. And it helps me to make good meals at home where it seems like I put all this effort when I really didn't. So Italian seasoning is one of those staples that I have in my pantry that I use all the time. So for the portobello mushrooms, they kind of suck a lot of the olive oil goodness. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more olive oil just on those. We're gonna stick it in the oven, 425, until you see that it's kind of getting brown on the edges and softened. Tender, but not soft, okay? Not all the way soft, because you still kind of want that really good crunch flavor, that kind of firm flavor to it. It's doing its thing. Very, very good. Very, very good. It's really caramelizing, falling apart. They're coming off, you know, they're all kind of stuck together at first when you cut them into rings. And now it's all starting to come apart. Right there. Be generous with the beautiful salt and pepper. Basic ingredients, but vital to everyday cooking. We are going to add that wonderful Italian seasoning that I was talking about. We're going to use some of that again on this sirloin steak. Oops, a little too much there. Okay. Okay. Too much. We're gonna get some olive oil and put a little olive oil on top. So what we're gonna do for medium, and rub it in, work it in. We're gonna do about 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And of course, if you want it rarer, do it less. If you want it more well done, a little bit more. I like about medium, no more than medium well. It's almost done. There's actually some really nice bits in the bottom. It's browned in the bottom. And what we're gonna do is add a little bit of white wine, just a splash, okay, of white wine. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more to take out all the really nice brown bits in the bottom. I have these little suckers where I use for soups and sauces and things like that. And you can just twist it back on and use it again for the next day. I mean, and it's super cool. So that's a good trick. I use they have red wine and white wine. So this is actually Pinot Grigio. I like cooking with Pinot Grigio because it's fruity and it lends, especially now we're cooking with onions, so it gives it a nice extra flavor. So what we're gonna do now is add a splash. Now you wanna kind of scrape, like I said, the little brown bits in the bottom, and that will really pick up some nice flavor for you. And you don't want it to be saucy, you know, you want just the onions on its own. So it really, the onions just suck up that wine flavor. Cook it a little bit more. Okay, now we're gonna take these onions off. Leave the heat on because, like I said, we're gonna use the same pan to brown the sirloin. Oh my goodness, okay, there it goes. Get it in the bowl. Okay, turn it up a little. Just put a little bit of olive oil. Okay, to about medium heat. I'm gonna take the sirloin. Three to 4 minutes on each side. Add some salt. So now our sirloin has been cooking on both sides at 3 minutes at each side, and we're ready to take it off the pan. I'm gonna use the cutting board here as a place for it to rest. Oh man, that's good. All right. So what we wanna do at this point is nothing. You don't wanna touch it. Don't mess with it. Don't poke it. Don't prod it. Don't do anything. As much as you wanna slice to eat it, you don't want to touch it at all because you want it to rest and all the juices to kind of all go back into the steak, and that way it's nice and juicy for your sandwich. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just let that chill out. It's nice and tender. Olive oil, push it around a little bit. The portobello mushrooms, you can see that Italian seasoning. So what we want to do at this point is kind of mix it all up. Of mott. If you want to keep it dairy-free, go ahead. You don't have to add this and just build your sandwiches at this point. But for me, I want some really nice ooey-gooey mozzarella cheese. And just really load that, okay? Turn it up to 450, that way it gets nice and melty. Put it back in and let it hang out until you see that the mozzarella is all bubbly that way, and let's see how it goes, if it's nice and medium. Very nice. Actually, it's rare, which is good. Okay, so turn out to be medium rare. I'll just really slice it in an angle, not too thick, not too thin. Right, I have my steak on here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut a piece, and I'll show you how to build this. And what you want to do, so it's a really nice crusty bread, ciabatta or a French baguette. It's perfect because it could stand up to the juices of the steak, and that's perfect. Okay, so what we want to do though is we want to take out some of all this bread so that we have room to put in all of our fixins. So I'm going to take some of the bottom out, a little bit of the top out, that we have space, right? You want more steak than bread, so I want more steak than bread, all right? Again, our garlic mayo that we made a little while ago, spread that in the bottom, as much or as little as you'd like. I'm gonna take some steak, a couple pieces. Oh man, that looks awesome. It's perfect, still pink inside. Like again, if you want it a little bit more well done, then just leave it on a little bit longer, okay? We're gonna take some of our caramelized onions. Ooh man, look at that. Put that on top. And then lastly, it is the steak and blue cheese sandwich. We're gonna take some crumbled blue cheese or gorgonzola and put that right there. I actually probably want to put more garlic mayo on the other side of that because I love garlic and I love mayo. So there, garlic mayo. Put that together, and that is your steak sandwich. All right? I'm going to finish making the rest, and then we will go ahead and see what's up with our roasted vegetables with the mozzarella cheese. That our steak sandwiches are done, we're going to go ahead and finish off with our roasted vegetable sandwich. The mozzarella cheese is nice and bubbly and nice and melted on top of those roasted vegetables. Go ahead and take it out. It smells so good. And you can see here just how much. We're going to bring our spring mix back in the mix for these. We have, earlier I mentioned my really favorite herb focaccia bread. We're going to spread our lovely garlic mayo in the bottom. And what we're going to do here, because we're just going to use a knife to kind of take a spatula and just kind of scoop whatever you want. There are juices there in the bottom, and you kind of don't want all of those juices to make your sandwich wet. Look at that. I mean, that's a hearty sandwich. That's a really hearty sandwich. You could put a little bit of crunchy greens on top. I have an extra piece of bread. Let's put the piece of bread there. Put it here so you could see. Okay. That's a really nice hot sandwich for you. How does this top go? Who cares? But that's a huge sandwich, roasted vegetable sandwich. So today we made 3 sandwiches. I'm gonna put this down right here. We made 3 really good sandwiches. And first we made a blackened salmon sandwich. We have a steak sandwich with blue cheese and caramelized onions, and a roasted vegetable sandwich with mozzarella cheese on top. And I hope that this will inspire you to kind of mix it up a little bit at home, make a really great meal, make a really creative sandwich. It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy crazy ingredients. It's just very simple ingredients. And I hope that you enjoy it and try it at home. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.